Hello friends, let's study ratio analysis. Today we are going to particularly eye upon the turnover ratios. As I said you, turnover ratios are the ratios that can give you the essence of level of sales and the frequency of sales that is happening within the business enterprise. So there are several types of turnover ratios. Number one, fixed asset turnover ratio. So the formula is net sales divided by fixed asset. This particular ratio will help you out in understanding in comparison to the amount of investment that has happened to fixed asset, how much sale you are able to generate. So if this fixed asset turnover ratio shows a good number, it indicates that your fixed asset has helped you out in developing the sales for your business. So that can help in understanding the effective utilization of fixed asset within the organization. Second, turnover ratio, current asset turnover ratio. Of course, the formula is net sales divided by current asset. This particular formula will help you out in understanding the ability of a current asset in generating the sales or the level of current asset and level of sales. So through current asset turnover ratio, you can understand as to whether your provision of current asset is sufficient enough to generate the amount of sales that you are targeting. The third turnover ratio is working capital turnover ratio. The formula is again net sales divided by working capital. So working capital turnover ratio will again help you out in understanding whether your investment into working capital is able to generate the sales that you are targeting. The last one is the inventory or stock turnover ratio. This formula is cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. As you all know, sales minus gross profit is nothing but the cost of goods sold. So another formula for inventory or stock turnover ratio is also net sales divided by average inventory. Both of these formulas of cost, inventory stock turnover ratio helps us in understanding the amount of stock that business has kept in their production setups and how the sufficiency of this is effectively generating the sales for the business organization. So the more turnover ratios you will have, the better business position is what business is having. This is something what we can predict. There are few more turnover ratios that we can eye upon. So another one is the debtors turnover ratio. Of course, the formula is net credit sales divided by closing or average debtors. So debtors turnover ratio will help us in understanding whether the business has sufficient amount of debtors provision and whether creation of debtors is actually supporting for sales induction. So these are something that you can understand. Another one is the creditors turnover ratio. The formula is net credit purchases divided by closing or average creditors. This credit turnover ratio will also help us out in understanding whether the credit been extended to the suppliers or by the suppliers is sufficient enough for a business to impact positively onto business affairs. And the last one is the capital turnover ratio. The formula is net sales divided by capital employed. So this helps us out in letting us know whether our capital investment was sufficient enough to generate the sale or whether that capital investment is going in vain. So friends, basically all these turnover ratios will help us in knowing whether the investment of a business into a particular financial parameter is sufficiently providing us the impetus for sales generation. So if it is happening, it is good. If it is not happening, there is a point of concern and we need to come in picture to understand. Friends, before I can close this video, you might have seen one very beautiful, interesting thing. In whatsoever turnover ratios formulas that we have eyed upon, we have seen that in most of the turnover ratios, In a numerator there is net sales, and in denominator the ratio's name is there. So for example, if it is fixed asset turnover ratio, the formula is net sales divided by fixed asset. And when it comes to current asset turnover ratio, the formula is net sales upon current asset. Or when it comes to working capital turnover ratio, the formula is net sales divided by working capital. Or if it is capital turnover ratio, then the formula is net sales divided by capital. So here comes a common thread. It's very simple to remember these formulas. They might sound complex, they might sound big, but they are very simple to remember. Any turnover ratio formula, numerator is either sales or a similar concept related to the ratio that we are talking about, and denominator is of course the name of the ratio. So this is the logic and the magic behind remembering the formula for turnover ratios. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and we will keep doing our studies of ratio analysis in our further more videos. Thanks for watching.